hope you're well. So today is the 11th of December and I have had an interesting morning in the sense that this whole week everything's gone according to plan, in the sense that I have followed through with all the plans I made, and this morning I didn't. And my plan was to do my planning for the week and I got all sidetracked, which I will talk about. But I just feel a bit like flustered, but I know that's just my thoughts, and then I'm just having like thoughts that are like meh. So I will explain. So this morning I woke up at 6:30, went to the gym, so all of that went according to plan. Also, by the way, this is a new dress that I'm wearing. It's from Boohoo that I bought through ASOS, and I got it when they had their Black Friday sale, so it was 20% off, so I think it was only $44 Australian. And it's hard to see, it's like a sheer sort of reminder. It's a sheer, like, with a lined, I don't know how to describe it. It's really nice and flowy. It goes down basically to just above my ankles, but it is meant to be lined. It is technically lined, but the lining is also really sheer as well. And when I tried it on the other day, I was like, great, lining looks great. Then this morning when I tried it on, I looked in our mirror, which I had light coming from behind me, and it was like, you could see like every like outline of my thigh like all the way up. So I'm wearing another skirt that I have under it to line that. But anyway, I really like it. It's just like, I don't know what I'm trying to say. So anyway, went to the gym. That was all great. And then my plan was, Steve replaced the battery in my car yesterday. I had to get a battery. So he did that. And then I had like an hour and a half to do a bit of self-coaching skills, which I did do. So maybe I'm being a bit too hard on myself by saying nothing went according to plan, because almost everything did except the last bit. So then my plan was to do my planning for the week. And last week, having such a clear plan just worked so damn well. So I really wanted to make sure I got in the habit of planning that way. And I found in the past that part of the reason I don't plan is so that I don't give myself the opportunity to let myself down, if that makes any sense whatsoever. I'm sure it probably will, but I found that I wanted to be vague with my plans, and it was more so that like it's hard to decide what to do with time, so it's kind of easier to just leave it up to whatever you're going to do in the minute. But as you probably know, choices at the time you're doing them aren't usually as good as if you've thought about it ahead of time. So often if I'm not planning, it's because I'm trying to avoid the decision making that comes with planning, and because that often means choosing what not to do. And also I'm trying to avoid giving myself the opportunity to let myself down. But also by not planning, I'm really not giving myself the opportunity to really succeed. And like this week was such a great example of that, because I was next level productive and really committed to my plans, and I achieved more than like what I could normally do in a month in a few days, which is not an exaggeration, because a lot of what I used to do was like procrastination and all of that kind of thing. So I was planning to plan, like have Monday morning, I'm on the way to work now, it's nearly 11 o'clock, so I only have a couple of hours before going to my part-time job on a Monday morning, so I feel like it's a good time to do planning, plus it's like Monday, so the Monday morning planning vibes. But I was like, what am I going to do? Because this is, now I'm into this stuff, so I don't know if you've been watching the last few days, but so I'm starting to really get serious about managing my time and batching things together. So the first week of the month, I created content for the entire month. So all the blog posts, all the podcast episodes, all the emails. And normally I keep myself busy with that for a whole month. so that I have an excuse not to do all of the marketing stuff and all of the stuff that is more challenging / opens me up to rejection, or like all of that kind of thing. So now that I have batched that together and done all that and been so productive, I have 3 weeks until I need to create any more content, which is a really great feeling. Because ever since I've started blogging, it's always like a constant, like, what am I going to write next? What am I going to write next? And I really just am so proud of myself for finally getting out of that. But now, like, there's so many different things to do that I could do. As always, everyone has this. And I really just struggled to figure out, like, well, what am I going to focus on? And what I really want to do is focus on, so I have an online course called Get Out of Your Own Way, and I've kind of, like, I 100% believe in everything I share in that course and think it's super valuable, but when it comes to marketing it, I'm like too vague in who I'm trying to market it to, so I feel like it's not really talking to anyone specifically, and I really want to have it be super specific, I think, because it's procrastination, to target it to the students, like people that are studying in my audience, which I know, I think it's about like 50-50 that are working full-time and that are studying. So I really want to have it like, and it makes it easier for me to make it more helpful if I know exactly what the person is struggling with. And I've been listening to a lot of Brooke Castillo, haha, no surprise there, but her marketing based ones instead of, if you don't know anything about Brooke Castillo, I just talk about her like everyone knows her. She has a podcast, a Life Coach School podcast, which is amazing, and I talk about it all the time. She has another one called How to Be a Life Coach, where she talks about marketing specifically, and I've been listening to that and kind of realized that I've always thought I have a niche, like you're meant to have certain people you target, that sounds like, so, but you know what I mean, certain people that you're helping, and I've always thought mine's been quite specific, perfectionist women in their 20s. I feel like that's, to most people's standards, pretty specific, and I can describe really clearly exactly what this person's struggling with, but I think I need to go the next layer down of like, is it a perfectionist woman in her 20s who's studying or who's working full time, or like who's trying to figure out what to do with her life, or like you can be multiples of those at once, but I think that if you try to speak to everyone, and if I try to speak to all perfectionist women in their 20s, then even though that's still specific, I'm not like super helpful for, like, what I'm trying to say is I feel like because I'm trying to cover a lot of people, and people who are doing slightly different things, like a 21-year-old perfectionist is much different to a 29-year-old perfectionist in a lot of ways. In a lot of ways, they're very similar. But I just think that my focus for the month is really going to be updating my online course called Get Out of Your Own Way, to make it really like the best possible course I could possibly make about procrastination for students, for women that are perfectionists that are in college, or I know some of you guys are in high school and you email me and you're like, am I allowed to read what you write? Yeah, I'm not in my 20s, but doesn't mean people who aren't students can't do the course. But I think that if I'm trying to, there's so many different kinds of procrastination that if I'm trying to talk about all of them generally, I'm not as helpful as I could be if I talk about specifically, like, procrastinating when you're studying is a different kind of procrastination to not booking a dentist appointment or doing anything like that. And like, if you procrastinate in one thing, you probably procrastinate in a lot of areas. But anyway, so I'm really wanting to completely update that course and put the price up of the course because I just think it's way too cheap. So if you have been thinking about buying it, like if you buy it now, I'll put the link below, but if you buy Get Out of Your Own Way, which as I was saying, still 100% completely helpful, and like literally in that I go through all of the exercises of everything I've tried in personal development in the last few years, all of the exercises that really had the biggest difference on me and on someone with a perfectionist mindset. But anyone who has bought the course at the current price will get all future updates, no matter how high the price goes or anything like that. So if you've been thinking about buying it, make sure you do, because I am going to be putting the price up significantly, I think to at least triple the price. So I haven't figured out the price just yet, because I need to create the course and make sure that the value is there and then some, but it's definitely going to be at least 3 times the price, so check that out. But anyway, so I'm really wanting to focus on that, but also in my mind that's like quite a challenging task, if that makes sense, because it's just like creating a whole new thing, and I'm really excited about it because I know I have so much to say, but it's still like a somewhat daunting task, really distilling it down and making it so helpful, and what's the best format and all of that kind of thing. So then this morning when I'm there, like, well, because I really want to update the course this week and have it all ready to go by the new year, for when people are going back to college and uni and everything like that, and school. But I was looking up something, and then I found that I ended up on someone's site. I think it's called Paper and Oats, to which she has a really beautiful site, and I was just looking at some I was reading an interview she did about her online course. Anyway, I saw her website. I was like, oh my god, I need to completely redo my website. I just was like, mine's just such a mess, and like it really, her website is just, I'll link it below if you want to check it out. It's just like so well organized, and because of that, if you go there, you can get, like, you can find exactly what you need very quickly, whereas mine, you're kind of just scrolling through. There are a lot of things about it I don't like, and then I was like, oh my god, I need to completely redo this. I have to redo this before even thinking about doing Get Out of Your Own Way. And then I was just looking for all these themes, and I couldn't find a theme that I liked, and I was like, and I was just in my mind like, for like an hour, and then I had to leave for work. And I think that's a completely normal part of the process, and all of this mind chatter that's happening now is what I have been trying to avoid, and what I have successfully been avoiding by keeping myself busy with all of the other stuff, and like busy procrastinating on all of the other stuff, so that I didn't have time to be like, blah, blah, blah. So I'm just trying not to beat myself up about not getting the planning done. I'm going to think about what I want to do this week while I'm at work, and just sort of like be thinking it through, but and to not let myself do that website stuff, because yes, I can definitely improve my website, and I will, but trying to, like, it's kind of just a distraction from the real thing that I need to be doing for my business. And it's kind of like, I would say at this point, busy work. Not that it won't have a big impact on the reader experience when they're on my blog, and helping people find my course and everything like that more easily, and free blog posts that they can get help from. But it's not the most important thing. And I know it's so tempting right now to be like, I'm just going to have this whole week to update my website, when in reality I know that it never is as quick as you want when it's website design stuff, because it's really fiddly. And I would love to just do that like between sort of Christmas, New Year, or around that time, like in a couple of weeks, in a week even, because it's going to feel so much better being like, oh, I've updated all my core. My storage just got full, and I had to pull over and sort it out. But anyway, I can't even remember where I was up to, but basically updating my website this week even though I was so tempted to do it, when I was getting my lunch and stuff ready for work, I was like, no, it's just a distraction. I'm just trying to avoid the challenging work, which is updating my course and then promoting my course and just making that amazing and sharing it with people, which is exciting and scary and uncomfortable and fun and a whole mix of things. And it's just so much more comfortable to just sit down and update a website. So I'm not letting myself be confused about what I need to work on. I am going to be working this week on the course. I'm really excited to really just share everything that I have learned, especially in the last few weeks, about procrastination. And also because I spent all of high school and then I was at uni for 6.5 years doing law and finance, and even though I did well, and I know you guys do well too, it's so stressful, burn myself out all the time, constantly procrastinate. Like, I know the struggle so well, and now I know the solution. I wish I had known it when I was a uni student. It would have changed my experience so much. But yeah, so I'm going to be putting all of that together for you guys. And if you're not a student, don't worry, there will be things for you too, other things, and of course all my free stuff as well. But yeah, I really want to update my website, and I was like, oh my god, I should change this Squarespace. Oh my god, I need to do like, it just happens when you need to do something challenging. Like, your brain will offer you lots of alternatives that are much more comfortable, even though it's still like trying to figure out what blog theme I want is a bit overwhelming at this point, which doesn't have to be. That's just coming from me thinking it's overwhelming. But yeah, so that's been my work this morning, to really just manage my mind around what I need to do, and making sure I don't get confused, I don't get distracted, and knowing that will happen, and just be like, oh, there it is, the confusion or the distractions coming up, and I'm just going to ignore it and stick to my plan, which is to update this course. So I think tonight, before I go to bed, because I don't want to start tomorrow without it done, I'm going to plan out, I have a couple of Christmas parties at work this week, but so yeah, I have a shorter day on Thursday and Friday, but apart from that, so it's really Tuesday, Wednesday, and the weekend, I am going to plan out which parts I'm going to update when I'm going to sit down and do the brainstorming and all the different things. So that's basically my update. Oh, I have a tea which I haven't drunk. Yeah, so that's basically it. I'm so glad I'm recording these, because it's just going to be so damn interesting to look back and just see all the struggling. And I know even now I'm in a completely different place to I was in September when I started, and yeah, I'm sure you guys will see me struggling with totally different things to now for like months and months, and then I realized what was happening. Anyway, just so interesting. I totally recommend doing this as well if you want, even if you don't want to share it with anyone. Though I find that sharing it publicly just makes it like, if I was doing it privately, and it shouldn't be this way, and I'm working on being just as committed to things I do in private as things I do in public, and I've actually been pretty good at that, bar the planning this morning. But yeah, a lot of people just find it easier. There's mindset work to be done to be as committed to yourself in private as you are when you commit to something in public. So what I'm trying to say is, you might find it a little easier to stick to if you have some public accountability. But anyway, if you aren't comfortable with that, please I totally recommend, especially with the new year coming up, it would be such a great thing to just document whatever it is, also I realized, because I had just got my hair cut when I started and I'm planning to grow my hair, that it's just going to be so cool. Like by the last videos, I'm going to just have long hair. Like you can just see throughout the whole thing. I don't know, I just find that really cool. That like I'll physically look different. Anyway, I think I'm going to leave it here because I have blabbed on long enough, but yeah, it's just so important to not get caught up in busy work, which sometimes can look so productive, because changing my blog is something that I think is really important, but not as important as actually making money and all of that kind of thing. So that's basically it. And again, if you want to buy the course, the price is going to go up soon, very soon, quite significantly. So get it now. If you've been thinking about it, you get all the updates for free. Anytime the course changes, you'll get everything that comes with it. So there's never a reason to wait. The price only gets higher, the course only gets better, and you can have it all. So anyway, I'm gonna go, but I will chat to